ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metza. I have three great guests with a brand new episode. Three lovely ladies from the Minsky Theater, which is on 15th and Central in Northeast Minneapolis, my neighborhood. And I just met these ladies earlier in the week. They were on my Wall of Power television show, which will air in a few weeks. So I'm going to introduce them. We have Jack.
Hello.
Tiff.
Hello.
And Red.
Hi.
So I just toured your amazing space today, but let's tell people right off the bat. You have tell about the show that is happening this weekend.
Oh, this weekend? Yes. So at the Minsky Theater, we are doing Edge of Glory, the ultimate Lady Gaga tribute show. And we're really, really privileged to have Melody Mendez coming in. And she is a nationally touring tribute artist who is most known for her Barbra Streisand impersonation and tribute act. But she is now foraying into being Lady Gaga as well. And we have combined her with Elite Entertainment to bring together this show. And then the band Clayhead and Moo provided the soundtracks, and we'll be doing the live playing, and so it'll be live vocals, and it's going to be everything that you would want from the Mother Monster, just scaled down a little bit for our stage. So
and the show is 7:30 tonight.
Yes, and tomorrow.
And Minsky Theater. Spell that for my people out there in the Wall of Power Radio Hour.
Sure. If you want to come check it out tonight, you can go to Minsky.com, MINNSKY.com, and then get your tickets.
And theater is spelled R-E at the end.
Yes.
That one always throws me. Now, like I said, I was so knocked out by your space, but who wants to, Jack, do you want to start and tell about the beginnings of the Minsky Theater?
Oh, sure. So we have been, our actual performance groups have been around for almost a decade, which Tiff is the co-founder, co-director, co-everything for the Wicked Wenches Cabaret, which we'll talk about in a second here, and is also the artistic director of the Minsky Theater. And so Minsky has been around. We're going into our third season. And, it's a vaudeville revival house, is how we tend to describe it to people. We're kind of the island of misfit toys for the theater scene in Minneapolis. So we do everything from circus, burlesque, cabaret, performances, fire performances, to regular musicals, to pro wrestling. So we have quite the spread, opera, all different types of things happening at Minsky Theater. But if it's quirky and fun, you can usually find it at the Minsky Theater.
So Tiff, fill us in some more about what Jack just told us.
Oh, about what I just told you? I can talk about the troops. Actually, I'll let you talk about the teasers because that's your favorite thing. But the Wicked Wenches Cabaret is our parody troupe at the theater. So we take an existing play or movie or something like that, or television show, and we turn it into a show, a comedy show, by writing our way around the original script or by writing our own script, and make these sort of parody shows that are very silly. And we have actors in them, and they, much like a musical, we actually call them vaudevicles, but much like a musical, where you would stop and sing a song. Instead, we would sing a song, or we'll do burlesque, or we'll do aerial arts, or some kind of circus thing in the middle of it. And we have quite a cult following, and most of our stuff is very nerdy. We just finished our Joker's Wild Batman parody, and we're about to go into The Grinch That Stole Triple Xmas. And then we have a full season next year, starting in February, with Mario Brothers, The Godfather. So that should be super fun for everybody.
So how did you meet Jack?
I met Jack because I came to take classes at Expertise Fitness, which we can, of course, talk about. But at Expertise Fitness, I was looking for circus and alternative fitness classes, and I came and took a chair class from her, and also a class called Go Go Fly that was a sort of a preliminary aerial class.
Wow.
And I took that, and she met me and found out I was a performer and said, you need to join this troupe I have that's pretty new called the Wicked Wenches Cabaret, and we're going to do cool things. And she was right.
What is the chair thing?
It's using a chair as a prop when you're dancing, so you can do all sorts of little acrobatics and stuff on it. So it's pretty fun.
Huh.
Yeah, and they're just banquet chairs from a hotel.
Right.
So try it in your own hotel room.
And Red, so how do you fit in?
Sure. So I started at Expertise Fitness about 4 years ago, and I am now the co-captain of the Expertisers, which is the other pro troupe out of Minsky Theater. We've been around for about 3 years, and we are the kind of showgirl troupe. We are much more dance-focused. So traditionally we've done cabaret shows, so we hold down group dances and things like that. And we will be shifting more towards a ballet style of show, not meaning that we'll be doing ballet dancing, although we do ballet dancing in our Nutcracker Noir, which is coming up in December, but more that we have a storyline and we dance to the storyline. So it's a little bit sexier than the wenches are. The wenches are funnier and the teasers are sexier.
Right.
But we have a good time dancing. And then I met Jack when I joined the teasers. I was at XFIT for 1.5 years before I actually met her. And now I'm the head pole instructor at the studio.
Well, when we were taping Wall of Power TV earlier in the week, and I have to give a shout out to my producer, Andy Watson, who he and his wife Priscilla went to one of your shows and were just knocked out.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah, Andy's a good guy. He's got great taste, obviously. Introduced me to you three. But I thought what's unique about this is there's 9 women large and in charge, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So talk about that.
Sure. So, I mean, for clarification for your listeners, so there's 2 branches to the company. There's the Minsky Theater itself, which is the performance venue, and then there's Expertise Fitness, which is the training facility that's right down the hallway.
Right.
So it's all in one building, and it's one unique space. We have about 12,000 square feet, all divided up into different studios and performance and training areas. And so there are 9, we call them boss ladies. We have boss lady meeting every Monday. So there's 9 contractors and volunteers that we work with that help to run the organization. And these people have all different backgrounds and are a part of the organization because they love it, because they're performers, because they're producers, because they want to see the art made and they believe in the space. So we have 9 boss ladies. But all told, we have probably about 75 individual contractors that work with the organization, either in administrative, technical, or performance capacity.
So when the boss ladies get together, there's 9. Do you ever vote on things? Because you could split because you'd have 4 and 5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's interesting because we're not a 501c, but I will definitely get outvoted on things.
Right.
It's more like a Knights of the Round Table kind of a feel. So we all sit down and we make decisions together. And I'm would be considered the creative on the team, and I usually am the one that comes and I say, hey, I have this idea. What do we think about this, guys? And we'll run creative ideas by Tiff, and Tiff will give her 2 cents, and then Red steps in and starts talking logistics along with Jenna. I have to give a shout out too, and then it sort of starts to implement from there, and the other boss ladies jump in with their different specialties and talents, be it set design, costume design, or ticketing, working with our members, things like that. And so having this really powerful team of independent contractors working with us is really nice because we can spread out the load of what needs to be done, but we also are working almost every day, all day, because everybody has such a different schedule.
Right.
So some people have day jobs, and so the daytime people can work on a project, and then the night people can pick it up where the day people left off. And so what's nice about it is we can produce at quite a quick rate because we have such an amazing team and because we have it spread out all over different working hours.
So how many productions would you do in a typical season, and when does your season run from?
So,
or does it go all year long?
Yeah, so we consider our seasons to be with the year, and then we have like micro seasons within those seasons. So we have basically January to April or May. We consider like our spring season, for early part of the year season, and we have our summer season, and then we have our fall, which is usually September, October, November, and then we go into our holiday, which is late November and December. So we actually plan about a year in advance. So yeah, so our seasons, and then as far as productions go, I mean, we had shows every single weekend. And so I think we did something like 60 productions last year.
Wow, that's
Something like that.
incredible.
There's so many. I was just counting for myself. In October, I did 17 shows.
Wow.
And I know there was one I wasn't in that we had at the theater. And it was like, because we produce a lot. Like, it's consistent. And the second we finish producing something, we've already started the next thing.
Wow.
And we're doing several shows at once. I mean, we were for a while there doing like 5 different productions at a time because we had a Wenches thing and a Teasers thing. And we were doing the Circle and Children's Programming. And we had Shadowcast going and things like
and
that.
Opportunities. And
I'm so knocked out. It's just an incredible group of performers and human beings that are bringing this all to the fore. For those of you that just tuned in, this is Paul Metzen, Wall of Power Radio Hour, talking to Jack, Tiff, and Red from the Minsky Theater. We got about a minute and a half left. Now, you've got a fundraising campaign coming up, so talk about that and how people could donate.
Oh, we sure do, and we would love to have anybody join us and support if you love the arts, and especially if you love laughing and be going, ooh, you should definitely check it out. So our 12 Days of Minsky will be running November 29th through December 10th, and we will be doing a membership drive. So it's a little bit like NPR, but with cabaret and burlesque.
Right. Oh, sure.
And if you become a member during that...
I don't see Carrie Miller pole dancing, but...
I mean, hey, you never know. So if you become a member during the 12 Days of Minsky Member Drive, in addition to the tickets that you would get, whatever normal package you would get, you'll get 2 additional tickets to our season, and you will also get 2 tickets to our gala, which happens in January, January 18th, and it's our big masquerade party that we have every year as a thank you and additional fundraising so that we can go into the 2020 season strong.
Wow. We will have Jack, Tiff, and Red on from the Minsky Theater for the whole show tonight. We're going to get in this little thing they do called shadow casting, which is one of the about a dozen things they do down at the Minsky Theater. And we'll be right back after these messages.
Back in January 2018, the tax laws changed. You probably won't get a tax deduction for donating your vehicle to Auto Technical or any nonprofit, and it's going to put us out of business. Over the past 30 years, our charitable mission has been reconditioning vehicles for thousands of families. Many vehicles are reconditioned and sold to the public. We are self-supporting, but donations have dropped by more than 80%. We can hold on until November, December, but without your help, we'll be forced to close the doors. The Tubman Shelter Workforce Training Center will no longer be able to refer clients to us for free cars. Please help us. Call me if you have a vehicle to donate. Richard at autotech.org, 612-919-5526. 612-919-5526. autotechnical.org.
Northeast Minneapolis is known for its creativity, and you'll know exactly why when you eat at Hazel's Northeast. Their creatively prepared comfort food will have you coming back week after week. Breakfasts like biscuits and gravy, granola pancakes, and brisket hash. For lunch, homemade soup and one of the best Reubens in town. And don't miss the daily risotto or Chef Ali's ever-changing dinner specials. Come on in. Bring the whole family. Hazel's Northeast delivers real good food. Family owned at 29th and Johnson in Minneapolis.
The #1 source of the Twin Cities gay scene is all digital. Follow Twin Cities Gay Scene on Facebook and Twitter. Sign up for the Scene Shot email blast for weekly updates and chances to win great prizes. No app is needed to view the bi-weekly web editions of Scene. It's GLBTQ media for the mobile generation. Find it all at TwinCitiesGayScene.com. That's TwinCitiesGayScene.com.
Hi, it's Tom Hartman. You know, Continental Diamond is special for a lot of reasons. The owners are Jimmy and Helene Pessis, a husband and wife team who had a dream to open their own store more than 30 years ago. They've built a business that is the gold standard. The readers of Minnesota Bride magazine have named Continental Diamond the best jeweler for the last 7 years. Why? Amazing, friendly, no-pressure customer service, a selection of fine diamonds and design jewelry unlike anywhere else, and the fresh-baked chocolate chip cookies are pretty great, too. Continental Diamond in St. Louis Park and at continentaldiamond.com.
Hi, this is Evelyn. Please, Dad, not again.
How about no dates ever?
Okay. My father is a beacon of hope for us all. Matt McNeil.
Holla!
Wow. I now have my driver's permit. My dad says my behind-the-wheel training for the next year will be in our Toyota Siennas. They're safe, reliable, and fun to drive, even when you're just learning.
I trust my vehicles with my kids. Toyotas are peace of mind. We're a 2 Sienna family thanks to Rudy Luther Toyota, the southeast corner of 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
That's us. This is Paul Metza with the Wall of Power Radio Hour on AM 950, the Lefty station. God bless us. I've got 3 lovely ladies from the Minsky Theater, an incredible theater group based in Northeast Minneapolis at 15th and Central, in a beautiful orange building on the front. Plenty of parking, too, I want to add, which is key as a musician that plays in different venues. Parking these days is key. Make it easy. Get them in the door. So, tell us about shadow casting.
Sure. So shadow casting is when we play the movie on a screen behind and actors act it out in front. So we match all the costuming. They try to match as closely as possible the action that's happening on the screen. And they also have interaction packets for the audience members.
Wow.
So the audience will have lines that they can say back, or props, or pieces of paper that they throw at the actors, you know.
A little bit like Rocky Picture Horror Show.
Yes,
Yeah.
very similar.
Yeah, that's a classic one that happens all over, but also in the cities as well. And I believe it's the Uptown Theater has been producing that for years.
Yeah.
And when Jack and I talked about doing shadow cast, we were like, well, we could do Rocky Horror, but somebody already does that, so
Right.
let's do other things. So we just finished our production of Labyrinth recently, which we do every Halloweenish time.
Right.
And also in the springtime, we like to do Princess Bride. That's a big winner. We did Spaceballs once, and we're hoping to do like Conan the Barbarian and an 18+ one, because all these are all ages shows.
Right.
It's the rating of the movie itself.
Right.
And we're hoping to do an 18+ one, Barbarella, coming up in the future.
We want to do a couple of Disney ones. So we actually, in the 2020 Minsky season, we are doing a vote for what you want in September.
Nice.
And so we'll put up 4 or 5 choices for our members, and they get to vote on which shadowcast we do. So that should be super fun, and another reason why you should become a member of Minsky Theater, so you can get to vote on that.
Well, I have to think... I was lucky enough to have Jack, Tiff, and Red on my Wall of Power TV, which will be airing in a few weeks. But now that we've got you on the radio, on Wall of Power Radio Hour, what if there's a budding entertainer, or not even budding, but an entertainer that would like to take part in one of your productions? How would they go about contacting you and auditioning?
Oh, yeah, it's pretty easy, actually. So they could email minskytheater@gmail.com, and it's MINNSKY Theater, spelled the old-fashioned way, THEATRE @gmail.com. And we actually have auditions for our troops, usually twice a year. Both troops audition, have our bigger audition in January, and then we usually do, if necessary, we'll do a substitute or a smaller audition in the summertime, somewhere around July-ish usually. And so the Expertisers is definitely more dance-focused. It's ballet style. The productions are ballet style. Not that you have to be a ballerina, but they're ballet style in that it's a story told through dance. But we do pole dancing, chair dancing, belly dancing, fire dancing, heels dancing, and we also do ballet and tap and jazz as well. So people are welcome to do that.
Belly and ballet.
Yes, exactly. And then the Wicked Wenches Cabaret is our parody troupe. So usually we tend to pull more actors, improvisation people, stand-up comedians. But you can have all different types of experience, or technically no experience, as long as you're funny. If you make the cut, we can teach people how to say lines. So it's a really interesting amalgamation of all different types of people with all different experience levels in both troupes, and there's some crossover as well. So
This has to be a great experience for these all ages shows. I imagine kids of all ages have to love this stuff.
Well, we basically, the only all ages shows we do are the Shadowcast. Just to be clear, most of the Minsky programming is 18+.
Right, because you guys work blue.
Yes, we do.
Speaking of which, let's talk about this XXX Christmas.
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, Tiff. This one, Tiff, you wrote most of it.
Yeah, because I remember talking on the phone with you a few years ago when I wrote it, and you were telling me which 90s rom-coms I should watch to write the show. So, yeah, it's The Grinch Who Stole Triple Xmas. Almost all of the names that we have for the Wicked Witches shows make them sound a lot dirtier than they are. Like, it's just a silly name to sort of get people's attention.
Well, name it. Give us a few.
Oh gosh. This last year, in February, we did Romeo and Juliet, A Breast Side Story. And
we've done A Midsummer Night's Wet Dream.
Yeah, sure did. We did the Sherlock Holmes and the Murder Under the Big Topless. And Under the Rainbow, which is our Pride show we do every year. Right. Oh, Cherry Hodder and the Hollowed Order of the Half-Blood Prisoners, Secret Stones of Fire.
Strip Wars.
And the Strip Wars Holiday Special, which is very culty. Yeah. And that's the one we're going to stream online we're going to put online first. And so, The Grinch That Stole Triple Xmas it's a 90s rom-com, and Cindy Lou Hooter is off in college. Studying truffle tree conservation, getting her PhD, and she comes home to the snowflake for Christmas, and she meets up with the Grinch, who looks like Kurt Cobain but with green hair because he's the Grinch, and it's a 90s rom-com. It's very cute. So we're redoing it this year, and so we're very excited about it. It's a super fun thing for the cast. Enjoys all these shows as well because they get to be these crazy, outlandish characters in every show, and some of them they come up with their own character work, and sometimes they base it, like on the Batman show, they base it off of the comic books and TV shows and things like that. But so much fun.
Well, and the snowflake is modeled after Minnesota. So I play Cindy's mom, and I talk like this the entire time. Oh, Cindy, honey, I'm so glad you're home now. You could have called first, of course. We needed your help, decorating the Christmas tree, but I guess it's okay that you got here now.
Fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
And so they're just,
Love it.
Yeah, people just don't stop laughing when they come to these shows. So you got to be prepared to giggle. That's The Grinch That Stole Triple Xmas, and that runs the first 2 weekends, the second and third weekend in December.
Yeah, the technical second and third weekend. Yeah, because the first weekend we were doing Opera Tease. It's one of that actually is an all ages show.
Yep.
And we do this. Do you want to do Opera Tease? You want me?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. Opera Tease, the Journey North Opera Company, is full of a bunch of opera weirdos who were like, we have a fun idea. In addition to doing regular opera, we would like to come to your shows, and we'd like to sing opera behind you while you perform in front of us, pole dancing or burlesque or whatever. What do you think? And we said, sure, whatever, sounds great.
Sure.
Yeah, sounds great. So they came in and did it, and it's so much fun. It's so much fun for everybody. And we just did a Halloween show, Tricks and Treats, and that went over very well. That was really fun. I love all the selections that the opera singers make, things that as I have, as a cabaret person, have never heard of. Very interesting things. And so we're going to be doing a children's one, a family-friendly one for the holiday.
So no burlesque. Yeah, just clowning.
So there'll be the burlesque performers will just be silly acting on stage.
Right.
So we're going to do that, and they'll be dancing in aerial arts, and there's a fire in that show, all sorts of stuff. And we'll be doing that. It's called Winter Wonderland, and that I believe is November 30th.
Yes.
Is that correct? Yes, November 30th. And that kicks off our Christmas season.
Tiff, you mentioned cabaret. Did you? What was your background? Did you work at Patrick's Cabaret at all?
I have done things at Patrick's Cabaret, but I didn't work there, but I've done shows there. I have been doing shows of this kind of cabaret-style shows since the late 90s, and I had a show at Club Metro, which people may remember from, it was a big lesbian bar in St. Paul a long time ago, and I had this Go-Go Girl show, and I went and saw a burlesque show. It was the Lily's a burlesque precursor, Moulin Rouge, Le Cirque Rouge, and Amy's group. And I went and saw that, and I was like, oh, look at that. It's old-timey stripping, I called it. And so I didn't know what it was called.
It's going to be the name of my next record, by the way.
Old-timey stripping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then, so I went back to my show, and I said, all right, ladies, this is what we're going to do. Once a month, you guys make up a routine and take off your clothes. And they're like, great, sounds good. So we started this. So I started burlesque without really knowing what it was. And then a few years later, I transitioned. I wanted to do something else. I was emceeing as well, so I MC things for people. And then I decided to go into I decided to learn some improv because I decided to sort of expand on my acting ability. So I did improv for a while, and then I started doing aerial arts, and that's how I met Jack. And I started doing.
And we'll talk about how the three of you met. We've got Jack, Tiff, and Red from the Minsky Theater back after these messages.
I'm John Peterson of Ferndale Market, and I'm the third generation to grow turkeys on our family farm in Cannon Falls. We've grown them the same way since 1939, free range and without antibiotics. We're proud of the way our turkey tastes naturally, so we never add fillers or basting solutions, just 100% pure turkey. And we're proud to remain an independent family farm. Looking for an extra special addition to this year's Thanksgiving feast? Our fresh, never frozen turkeys remove the hassle of thawing and can be picked up just days before your celebration. available at natural food stores across the region. Reserve your fresh, free-range Thanksgiving turkey for pickup at our store right on our farm in scenic Cannon Falls or at one of our retail partners. For more information on finding our Ferndale Market Thanksgiving turkey near you, visit us at ferndalemarket.com. That's ferndalemarket.com. Thank you for your support of local foods and farmers. We'll hope to see you at Ferndale Market soon. ferndalemarket.com.
Hey, it's Brett from the 4 p.m. show, and I got a crazy question for you. Is your home ready for the holidays? Yeah, I know it seems way too soon to be talking holidays, but they will sneak up on you. That's why I just use Zero Res to clean my carpets, so come holiday season, I'll have at least one thing off my checklist. And right now, Zero Res has an awesome carpet cleaning deal. 3 rooms Zero Resified starting at only $149. But you need to mention AM 950 when you call. So call 952-0-RES, mention AM 950, and you'll be ahead of those sneaky holidays.
If you're struggling with what to give someone for a holiday, birthday, welcome gift, or to say thank you, try an affordable, easy, and unique gift. A You Betcha box. What are they? Curated Minnesota gift boxes that include delicious Minnesota-made gourmet goodies. And with a name like You Betcha, you know it's local. You Betcha boxes are a real-world example of what we can achieve when we support and nurture one another. Featuring a variety of fun Minnesota-themed options, there is sure to be something for everyone. Every box also includes the artisan maker profiles. Your gift recipient will enjoy reading about these amazing award-winning products and the interesting stories of the Minnesotans behind them. You Betcha boxes are perfect for family and friends across the country and make great business gifts that will show your employees, coworkers, and clients your appreciation. Just go to youbetchabox.com and browse through the wide variety of local Minnesota-made gift boxes. Shipping is always included in the price. There is sure to be something that will leave a lasting impression. That's youbetchabox.com.
Twin Cities Ballet is proudly celebrating 10 years of a Minnesota Nutcracker at Ames Center in Burnsville, December 13th through the 15th. Twin Cities Ballet presents this beloved holiday classic with a Minnesota twist and is one of the most attended must-see holiday events in the Twin Cities. Twin Cities Ballet's A Minnesota Nutcracker will provide delightful entertainment for your whole family. Tickets on sale now at twincitiesballet.org. twincitiesballet.org.
With your AM 950 weather, this is Eric Nelson. Tonight, rain's possible after 3 a.m. with a low around 36. Sunday, cloudy skies with a high near 38 and a low of 27. Monday will be partly sunny with a high of 39 and a low of 31. AM 950 is brought to you by Ferndale Market, a third-generation turkey farm out of Cannon Falls. Their fresh, never-frozen Thanksgiving turkeys feature no fillers or basting solutions, just 100% pure turkey. Reserve your fresh, free-range Thanksgiving turkey today at their scenic Cannon Falls farm or one of the many natural food stores across the Midwest. Visit them at ferndalemarket.com.
Welcome back to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metz. I have 3 delightful ladies, and I'm really enjoying our discussion and getting to know them. 3 real creative types. They all work together at the Minsky Theater. And we heard from Tiff at the end of the last segment. I'm going to go to my right to the lovely Red. And how did you get into theater and then all your work, all your acrobatic stuff?
Oh, sure. I've had a couple different lifetimes already. And so in a previous lifetime, I was a teacher. I was a high school English teacher at alternative schools for 13 years. I was in the education field. Oh, I was all over.
Okay.
And the school that I was at for the longest went bankrupt, unfortunately. So I was at the City Inc. before it went under.
Okay.
And so I worked with kids that other people didn't want to work with for a long time, and I loved it. But as I said, the school went under, and then I thought it would be fun to try an office job. It wasn't.
Right.
It wasn't.
You guys don't really seem like cubicle people to me.
It just wasn't a good fit for me. It was a lovely company to work for, but it just wasn't for me. But it was around that time that I started taking pole dance classes, and I did not have a dance background whatsoever. I did do theater in high school, but we were a very young theater program, and so anyone who showed up kind of got to do whatever they wanted to do.
Right.
So I started pole dancing classes with no background, and about a year and a half in, I joined the Expertisers, which is a dance troupe, ironically, with no dance experience.
And how's that spelled? If people want to...
Expertisers, EXPERTEASER.
Right, okay.
So like teasers.
You guys are tricky.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
We like the wordplay.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. So when I started as a student at Expet, I said I wasn't going to get into leadership. I was just going to be a student.
Right.
And
they pulled you in.
It didn't work very well because I can't help myself.
Yeah.
So I joined the Expertisers, and about a year into that, I became a co-captain about a year and a half in, I think. And then I said, Jack, you know what you should do? You should hire me to work at your company.
Yeah.
And probably about 6 months after that, another person left, and she called me up and said, how serious were you? I was like, let's go.
Wow. That's great.
So now I'm co-captain of a dance troupe with no dance experience and head pole instructor with only 4 years of experience. But
hey, it's Northeast, man. It's all improvised, right?
Yeah. It was dormant inside of me. Yeah. I woke up.
Well, and Red's being very humble. She's quite a good dancer.
Yeah.
So you can start dancing later in life and still end up being quite an entertaining performer.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can. I had no idea that you didn't have a dance background.
Yeah.
You're terrific. Also, her pole dancing troupe, the Chromatics, is
Yeah, so I have a pole dancing troupe that I started because why not add other projects?
Sure.
So they're Chromatics, which the word chromatics, I feel the need to explain this to people. The word chromatic means colorful or lively.
Right.
But also, if you break up the words, it means chrome addicts, as in we are addicted to chrome, which is what the poles are made out of. So there's 5 of us, and we do doubles, triples, quadruple, and quintuplet tricks on pole.
Wow.
Yeah, they're stunning. They're absolutely amazing.
So cool. Yeah.
How long has pole dancing been around besides strippers? But I mean, like, who is the first person that said, I'm going to have a pole dancing class for people that love dancing on poles that aren't strippers?
I would say, the fitness started probably in the 90s.
The 80s. I actually had to look this up for opportunities. Yeah, because it's not even that pole dancing. It's that makalat, which is the Indian form of the pole like trickery. It's really cool. If you just look it up on the internet, it's really cool to watch.
It's like 2,000 years old.
Yeah, it's super.
And Chinese pole too.
Yeah, Chinese pole. Yeah, that's a lot of where that came from is Chinese pole. Watching those people look like squirrels running up and down the poles. It's really cool. That actually is what interested me in circus performance to begin with. But then it went in the 80s is when they started using it in clubs, and then from there in the 90s it started
it did in the 20s and 30s. It did start a little bit in big top pole dancing, and then the poles that were holding up the tents.
Yeah, it was specifically to attract people to traveling carnivals to attract people to it. They would have the girls who were the showgirls go out and sort of dance on the wooden tent poles to get people.
Watch out for slivers.
Yeah. Like to get people's attention to bring them in, but it didn't. I don't know that it was necessarily as athletic as it is
Absolutely
now.
Not.
But also I'd be scared of doing that on wood, like you said. But they would sort of dance in there to get attraction. But then it didn't really take off until they started making metal poles and putting them in clubs for fun, and then bring into strip clubs, and then from there.
Yep, and then it kind of grew into a fitness industry from there. So
crazy. Well, you know what I love about it is that it's drawing on so many traditions. 100-year-old traditions in American entertainment, if we're talking vaudeville. Tell us a little bit about how you came up, because I drove by 2 or 3 years ago and I saw Minsky Theater and I go, geez, that rings a bell. And then you told me the other day, but tell the audience out there.
Oh, sure. So if anybody's not familiar with the term vaudeville is an American-specific style of performance that married the sort of carnival scene with girly shows. And so vaudeville is very much an American staple invention, and it had its heyday in the 1930s and 40s. And so the Minsky brothers were the top vaudeville and burlesque producers in the 30s and 40s. And when we talk about that this is an American staple, and it was actually kind of written out of American history books because it's blue, it was huge. I mean, the Hennepin Theater Trust is going to be having their 100-year anniversary, and they were talking at one point about having a burlesque show because that's actually how the Hennepin Theater Trust started. All of the big theaters downtown, all the big boys, had major burlesque shows come through there, and these were gigantic theatrical entertainment things. And there was huge hubs where people would travel all over the country. There was about 3 major hubs in the United States, and the vaudeville performers, I mean, mean, these performances were, you know, you'd have your comedian act, you'd have a showgirl act, you'd have some sort of, you know, like an animal act or, you know, exotic animal act like snakes and things like that. And then you would have a Broadway act and dancers and things like that. So the Minsky brothers were these largest producers, so I always liked the name Minsky. I wanted to have kind of an old-fashioned sounding name to the theater. I really, I've always loved old-fashioned theater, so we have red curtains and it's Art Deco themed, and we have, you know, the gold trimmings and I like that style of theater. I always have. And so, but we took on two N's for like Minnesota. So that's why it's MINNSKY. So it's a little bit of my love of Minnesota and Northeast Minneapolis combined with a wink and a nod to the Minsky brothers.
Well, I believe the Orpheum Theater, which is a gorgeous theater that they redone years ago. Bob Dylan and his brother owned it for a long time. I think the opening act there in the late 20s was the Marx Brothers. And Minneapolis was really had, boy, if you look back at Lost Minneapolis, how many theaters they used to have downtown.
Yes, like 15.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible. And then I remember reading, I think it was Liberace, who's from South Dakota, and talked about in the 1930s, he said Hennepin Avenue, with all the lights from the theaters and everything, said was the most beautiful main drag of any city he's ever been in.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you guys are bringing back a lot of these traditions, but really mixing them in a whole new gumbo.
Oh yeah, with the circus and then the technology being able to mix into it. So sometimes we have videos playing behind us, and we you know, lasers and smoke and all that kind of stuff too. So it really brings it to even the next level. And I mean, it makes a lot of sense why people like this style of theater, because I mean, you get musicians together and you get performers together, and you start, you know, improvisation, but also just having fun together. And again, yes, our stuff is slanted blue. It's 18 plus, but we're on the very light side of blue. If it was a scale, we're just
light
into the
blue.
baby blue. We're baby blue. You know, so I mean, a lot of double entendre.
Sure.
But we try to be clever and witty about it too, which is another part of burlesque that I absolutely adore. And really, we try to honor is all the comedy that went into it. I mean, the word burlesque actually is derived from the Italian word of to laugh.
Right.
I mean, so it's supposed to be caricature and humorous and stuff like that. So, but it also encompasses sort of this brand new world that's been created. And this is kind of where the Expertisers comes in, where we took the sort of formatting of ballet and overlaid it with circus and heels dancing and sexy dancing, and then we created this really unique style of dance that the Expertisers do as well, which is sort of a mixture between showgirl and like a cirque storytelling thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you know, you look back at some of that original film footage of Mae West or W.C. Fields. It was all double entendre.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? So, Jack, what was your background? Your theatrical background. I believe you told me you went to the U of M.
Yes, I went to the University of Minnesota. I have a theater degree, and then for all intents and purposes, I was one class short, but I'm a film minor.
Okay.
And so, but I've been doing live performance since I was 3 years old, and I've never stopped.
Right.
So I'm a singer, I'm an actress, I'm a producer, I'm a dancer. I've done all of it, and I've directed since I was 16.
And you love Carol Burnett.
Yes, she is probably my number one influence. Carol Burnett, and then you know, Bernadette Peters and Lucille Ball, and I mean, just all of them. They're all fantastic.
We do like the same comedians.
Yes.
You and I do the same comedians.
Yep, absolutely. I loved the Carol Burnett show. You know, that was such an amazing. Oh, Bette Midler is my other big influence.
Right.
I mean, Bette is just stunning.
Yeah, as good as it gets. Red, what were you influenced by growing up, watching television or going to the movies or going to theater?
You know, I thought about that when I heard you ask them that yesterday, and honestly, it's going to sound ridiculous, but Christina Aguilera in the Dirty music video.
Okay.
Where she's like in the boxing ring and she's like oiled up and she's like dancing and fighting people. I was like, I want to wear that.
Sounds like you so much.
Oh yeah, no, that's perfect. And that's the Expertisers. I mean, and we've got a show coming up called Nutcracker Noir, which is our dark, sexy Nutcracker, and Red's going to be playing the Rat Queen
as a dominatrix.
Yep, and we're playing. We have gender bending in it, and fire and circus, but it's a really beautiful visual extravaganza, and it follows the story of the Nutcracker. It's just that Clara's 18, and we're taking her to the land of vice, ruled by the Sugar Cum Fairy, and it's
You're
her
very naughty girls.
Yes, and it's her adventures in that land. So it's
her
really
and the
cool.
Nutcracker have a slightly different relationship.
This is our third year running for this show. It's been very popular.
What has been the audience response? It must have been fun over the 3 years you've been there just to watch the audience grow and the word get out.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the audience loves the shows. I mean, people are blown away and stunned when they come to the theater. They're like, we've never seen anything like this. And they're like, it's such a neat mixture of styles. But then also the biggest feedback we always get is that people are deeply grateful for the representation they see on stage. So we have such different body types and abilities and ages, and we have people playing different genders and different ages than they are, and at the same time we also have all gender spectrum performers, and we really just are talking about going really old school. I mean, we're talking about old theater where actors could just play any role.
Right.
And the audience just gets over it after a second, and they can just be.
And back in the day, and still now, actors playing different roles in the same production. We've got Jack, Tiff, and Red from the Minsky Theater. We'll be back after these messages.
The number one source of the Twin Cities gay scene is all digital. Follow Twin Cities Gay Scene on Facebook and Twitter. Sign up for the Scene Shot email blast for weekly updates and chances to win great prizes. No app is needed to view the bi-weekly web editions of Scene. It's GLBTQ media for the mobile generation. Find it all at TwinCitiesGayScene.com. That's TwinCitiesGayScene.com.
Hi, I'm Peter Solak.
And I'm Adam Ostrowski.
We are here at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces to talk about the joy of live fire cooking. Cooking over a live fire is the oldest and most basic form of cooking.
What's new is in the way fire is handled and its heat is managed.
It's easier to experience and enjoy the smell and taste of food cooked over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces sells and installs live fire grills, fire pits, and ovens. Let us help you experience the smell, the taste, the fun of cooking with fire.
Pizza was first made and is still best made in an open fire oven. The radiant and conductive heat of a live fire is unmatched for wood roasting and baking artisan breads too.
Come see the many ways you can cook over a live fire.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces has over 35 working wood and gas units on display at the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis. More information at woodlandstoves.com. Find the fire that works for you. Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces. Out of the ordinary products and services since 1977.
Hello, humans. This is me, Ellie Krug, with Ellie 2.0 Radio on Monday mornings from 7 to 8 a.m. This week, I talk about the Gulabi Gang fighting for women's rights in India. Then, our featured idealist is Michael Rexford of lighthopelife.org, a suicide prevention and education nonprofit. In my C block, I share about speaking in Hastings, Minnesota, where a segment of the community has publicly come out against transgender humans. That's me, a catalyst for learning and changing. LE 2.0 Radio, engaging and real.
Wendy, great news.
What's the great news, Robert?
Hey, we're on Wednesdays now at 5 p.m.
That's great. What's the name of the show?
Pilot's Playhouse? I don't know.
Pilot's Playhouse. That's terrible.
That is terrible. Hey, everyone should listen in and see what we come up with.
So what's the new show about?
Well, we'll have local and national news and guests that you don't hear anywhere else.
Wednesdays at 5.
See you then.
Hello, fellow AM 950 listeners. This is Jasia from Nightingale at 26 in Lindale. Come experience our delicious signature dishes and exciting rotation of inventive seasonal fare from my wife and chef, Carrie, and her team. Nightingale is the perfect place to gather for any occasion, with our extensive wine, beer, and cocktail selection, along with our dedication to great service. We offer a full menu every day from 4 to 1 a.m., 2 award-winning daily happy hours, and weekend brunch at 10. More at nightingaleMPLS.com.
which means you can only be in one place, and that's listen to the Wall of Power Radio Hour with your host, Paul Metza. I've had three just incredible guests with me tonight from the Minsky Theater, Jack, Tiff, and Red. They've got so much going on. It blows my mind. I gave me a short tour of the studio today before we drove out to AM 950 to tape this show in the basement studio with the great Brett Johnson, AM 950, located in Eden Prairie, which is neither Eden nor a prairie, I might add. But it must really be fun when you get the 9 boss ladies together. I mean, it's got to be just like a creative whirlwind of ideas.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we already have our 2020 season planned, and we basically get to do whatever we want because we're in charge of the theater, so we get to pick the programming the way that we like, and we tend to slant towards nerd things and fairy tales. Okay. So we're working off of a lot of times recognizable either themes or actual recognizable material, and it's kind of nice because it's fun to remix something that you grew up loving into a whole nother way to look at it and story. So.
Now, have you ever taken or can get the rights to do a Carol Burnett television episode?
Oh my gosh. I mean, that would be amazing. I don't even know how you would go about starting to do that. You'd probably have to talk to the TV stations more so than Carol herself. But the Carol Burnett formatting, that's something that has been around for a very, very long time. So you could definitely do some sort of tribute to her, and that would definitely be something we could put on the docket. That'd be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we also have in addition to all the stuff that we produce ourselves, we also invite other groups to come in and do things either personally or professionally. You can talk about weddings if you want to later. Yeah. We do all sorts of things in the theater space. Two of my very favorites, Tiff's picks, two of my very favorites that we have had at the theater and that we'll continue to have are the Ricky Norton Pro Wrestling, which is amazing. We take out a bunch of the seating and they put up the wrestling ring. Jack and I went and watched it, and it was incredible. It was so much fun. It's something you wouldn't. I watched pro wrestling as a kid, in the 80s, and something you wouldn't expect from pro wrestling is exactly how progressive it is. You would not expect that at all, but it was amazingly progressive, and I was deeply impressed.
In what ways?
They had the segment. They had one female wrestler during that segment, and the guy she had to fight, of course, was misogynistic, and that was he also couldn't talk. He had a cold, and so he just made a whole character out of not being able to talk, which is amazing. But it was very silly.
She kicked his ass.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, absolutely, yeah. She destroyed. They had some characters who were more flamboyant. They didn't say that they were gay, but I think that was the implication. Right. And they ended up winning. There was a portion that happened, which I thought was great, where the other wrestler who was wrestling the gay character, the other wrestler kissed the gay character, and he was like, ew, and then beat the guy up, which was great, which you would expect it to be the other way around, but it was not, which was wonderful. Oh gosh, I've forgotten the other thing. This Christmas, we are having about 2.5 weeks, I believe, of the 3
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Gosh, 3 weeks of the Danger Committee. And the Danger Committee performs at the Renaissance Festival and other places. They're improvisers and jugglers, and they're going to come in for an all-ages show and do their entire Christmas program, which is, I think it's a stocking full of awesome.
Yeah, it's a wonderful knife.
Yeah, it's a wonderful knife, a stocking full of awesome. And they're going to come in, and they're going to set each other on fire and throw knives at each other's heads, bring your kids.
Yeah, it's going to be super cool. And tickets are going crazy fast for that. So people are going to, and actually for all of our holiday programming, so people should get their tickets now.
Yes.
Once again, Jack, tell us where people can track down tickets.
Oh, yeah, Minsky.com, MINNSKY.com. That's what it is.
That's easy.
Yeah, it's super easy.
So do you think you're going to, I see this, these productions, your various productions, it would seem like the next move would be to take some of these things on the road.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly what we're aiming for. So the Wicked Wenches Cabaret want to take their parody shows because they're all so geek oriented. We to try to take them out to cons and just getting booked in cities near where cons are happening. I mean, like our absolute wonderful fantasy would be to have fantasy that'll be a reality someday. Is we'd love to do either like the New York Comic Con or the San Diego Comic Con, and so that is one thing that we want to do for taking on the road. But then the the Expertisers, many of them are also a part of one of our branches called Elite Entertainment, and that is our top circus performers and dancers, and we will go out and do this stuff at events. We'll do showgirls and walking around and do live statues and circus and fire, and we create really fun characters for them. And we had Tiff play a mermaid that sat in like a champagne glass. So she was a champagne mermaid, and then handed out champagne to the guests as they came in. So that was kind of a neat thing, and so we do all types of stuff like that. We also have a lot of giant props that we can bring out too. So we have carousel horses and giant lipsticks that you can sit on, and all sorts of just cool, wacky stuff that people would like to have at their events to make corporate events and fundraisers and stuff just a little bit more fun, and that puts everybody in the giving mood.
Yeah. Well, Tiff, you mentioned it briefly in the last segment, but for any people out there that would like to rent the space for a private event, including you, or maybe just bringing in their own entertainment, that's available, correct?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Actually, we should have Red talk about that.
Yeah. I'm the main contact for if you want to rent the theater out for a performance, private event.
Fantasy wedding,
yes. We seat around 150 depending on our seating configuration, and that's a cool thing that you can do. And we can project, so if you want to have a corporate meeting and project things on the screen, that's something that you're able to do. We're able to put tables down on the play space. We can provide performers for your event. We do daily rentals, we do weekly rentals, and when you rent with us, you also have the option to rent set pieces and costumes from us, and you get an opportunity to see those. It's not a small amount of costumes or set pieces that you can choose from. Yeah.
You got a nice stash of a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not only would a great space to rent for whatever the event, but you've also got a studio, and people can go there and join, work out, climb on poles, swing from the rafters, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So our training facility that's connected to Minsky Theater is the Expertise Fitness, where we put the it factor in fitness. And it's all dance, performance, and circus-based alternative fitness. So we have pole dancing, chair dancing, belly dance, burlesque, circus arts, aerial arts, and fire is going to be coming up soon. So we have lots and lots of workshops and classes and sessions available. We will be doing a Black Friday sale, so hopefully some of your listeners can check it out. It's expertisefitness.com, so EXPERTEASE fitness.com, and it's a really, really fun time. It's incredibly empowering, and it's 18 plus.
Right.
So you get to come and have some adult you time and hang out, and you can say swear words, and you get a workout, but you also get to really improve your self-confidence.
Well, I have to think that after a show closes or after a rehearsal, you guys get drunk and just go nuts in that place.
Oh, God. We're so
tired. Are you kidding me? We usually have rehearsal the next morning. I mean, we might drink some water and high five each other, but we when we do party
That's okay,
though,
you're lying.
Yeah.
Keep going.
When we do party though, we tend to take over the dance floors when we go out to the clubs together. We'll go out in a big group and show them how it's done.
Someone will lie and say, "We'll just stay a minute. It's 2 o'clock and they're kicking us out."
It's like potato chips, right? You can't eat just one. Hey, I want to thank Jack, Tiff, and Red from the Minsky Theater. I'm going to go to the Lady Gaga show tonight.
Yay!
And check them out at Minsky.com. I wish you all the best, and it's such a pleasure to get to know the three of you.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so much for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This show is produced by Paul Metza and engineered by the great Brett Johnson. We would like to thank our guests from the Minsky Theater, Jack, Tiff, and Red. Check out their theater, 15th and Central. They got something going on every weekend. I've got some things going on, too. I'm celebrating my 40th anniversary of my first show in town with a big show on December 23rd called Holiday on Ice Cubes at the Parkway Theater, which is 48th in Chicago. Partial proceeds from that will go to benefit the Northeast Seniors Food Shelf, which is a charity event I started 22 years ago and have been doing every year. I also have an Indiegogo campaign to raise some funds to put out a book of poetry called Alphabet Jazz with a corresponding spoken word CD with some great musicians behind it. Just go to paulmetza.com. I appreciate you checking that out. And like my dad used to tell me, remember to be kind and make someone happy.